Good afternoon. My name is Buffy, and today we're doing a three-part live. The first part is when the outcome doesn't match the effort. The second one is why some people become cruel in group settings. And the third is the people who stay human under pressure. So this is a varied set of topics, but they all kind of align together, and I will put them together for you so that they make sense. So for those of you that don't know, I'm a podcaster. I have two podcasts on YouTube. One is recovering_perfectionist_mama, Grace in Progress, which is a psychology channel, which a lot of this stuff dives into. And the second one is Grace_and_gavel. This is where truth meets compassion, as I am an almost 18-year criminal defense attorney. And so that is my true crime channel, both housed on YouTube. If you feel value from this, feel free to like and subscribe. I tend to go live on YouTube live at 12:30. I'm a little late today. You know, this week has been a little hectic with elections and things like that. And so I'm a little behind. But yeah, definitely wanted to get into it. So when the outcome doesn't match the effort. Today I want to talk about something that I think a lot of people quietly struggle with. And that is the pain of doing everything you think you could think to do and still not getting the outcome you hoped for. And I think this is one of the hardest emotional realities for human beings to accept, because we are taught this very linear idea that you work hard and you're going to get rewarded. You be good and things will work out. Do the right thing and people will notice. But life is often far messier than that. Sometimes you can work incredibly hard, show up consistently, sacrifice emotionally, and put your whole heart into something and still lose. If you felt that, you know the frustration and the pain and the agony of all of that. And if I'm being honest, I think this hurts more in those moments. What hurts the most in those moments is not always the loss itself. Sometimes it's the confusion. Sometimes it's everything that came before and everything that's coming after. And it's almost a sense of grief. It's almost a sense of loss. It's almost a sense of not being fully prepared to actually deal with those consequences because you thought you were going to win. So welcome, guys. My name is Buffy. I'm a women's lifestyle creator on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. And I have two podcasts, Recovering Perfectionist Mama on YouTube and Grace and Gavel on YouTube as well. The first one is psychology. RPM is psychology. Grace and Gavel is a true crime. Grace_and_gavel_. So today we're talking about three topics. Ready? When the outcome doesn't match the effort, part one. Part two is why some people become cruel in group settings. And part three is the people who stay human under pressure. So we got a full plate here. Tonight, I want to talk about something that I think a lot of people quietly struggle with. And that is the pain of doing everything you could think to do and still not getting the outcome you hope for. If you've experienced this, you know how painful it can be. And I think this is one of the hardest emotional realities for human beings to accept, because we are taught this very linear idea that if you work hard, you're going to get rewarded. If you be good, things will work out. If you do the right thing, people are going to notice. But life is often far messier than that, isn't it, friends? Sometimes you can work incredibly hard, show up consistently, sacrifice emotionally, put your whole heart into something and still lose. And if I'm being honest, I think what hurts most in those moments is not always the loss itself. Sometimes it's the confusion, because it doesn't make sense. You did everything you were supposed to do and the outcome didn't work out for you. The how did this happen? The how did people not see what I saw? The how did effort not matter more? And I think that's the thing that frustrates a lot of people, that they put all the effort in and then nothing really comes of it, right? And if I'm being honest, I think what hurts most in those moments is not the loss itself. Sometimes it's the confusion. And I think many of us are carrying disappointment right now in different forms. Maybe you're carrying disappointment in relationships. Maybe you're carrying disappointment in careers or friendships or family dynamics or dreams or goals or health journeys. Each one has its own disappointment and its sadness, right? We have to grieve that. We have to work through that. You can do everything right and still encounter disappointment. But I also think one of the greatest tests of character is, who do you become after the disappointment? Do you become angry and bitter and want to give up? Or do you keep pushing? Do you keep showing up? Do you become cruel? Do you become bitter? Do you become vindictive? Do you become hopeless? You don't have to, right? Because one setback is not the end. You can rebuild like the phoenix. Or do you grieve honestly? Because I'll be honest with you, it is very easy to become cynical after public disappointment. Very easy. And I think some people almost expect you to. They expect pain to harden you. But I don't want to lose my softness. I don't want to lose my empathy. I don't want disappointment to turn me into someone I don't recognize. And I know many of you probably feel the same way. And maybe that's the real work, learning how to survive disappointment without becoming emotionally destroyed by it. Because the outcome is not always the full story. Sometimes effort matters. Sometimes integrity matters. Sometimes consistency matters, even if there is not an immediate reward attached to it. And maybe some doors close because another one is quietly opening somewhere else. So let's go to part 2, guys. Why some people become cruel in group settings. If you've been bullied, this is for you. One thing I have noticed throughout my life is how dramatically many people change in groups. Individually, they may seem polite, reserved, even kind, but put them in a crowd, put them in a politically charged environment, put them around people laughing or mocking someone, and suddenly they become someone else entirely. And that's their character. And I think what fascinates me psychologically is how contagious group behavior can be, groupthink, right? And because humans are deeply social creatures, we often take emotional cues from the room. If everyone is laughing, some people laugh automatically, even if internally they feel uncomfortable. Guys, if you feel value, please feel free to like and subscribe. Welcome, Maya Dashi. And so I will tell you a quick story. So essentially we had a scenario in our town where one of our elected officials is in trouble, whatever. And so this other elected official who beat this person in a race decided to make a shirt with the inmate number and then on the back, the photo of the person's mugshot. Everyone laughed but me and another attorney beside me because people thought it was hilarious. I personally was sick because I don't do bullying. No, thank you. Not cool. So the group thinking was taking over. And that's important because I think there are different kinds of reactions in group settings. There are people who genuinely enjoy humiliation dynamics. They enjoy it. They love it. They relish it. And then there are people who become visibly uncomfortable. I'm that person. Nervous laughter, which I did not have. Red faces, avoiding eye contact, that was me, and I wanted to run. So if you've been in that scenario, you know how it feels to be, it was like sprung on us like that. And it was so uncomfortable. I couldn't stand it. And I think highly empathetic people often experience group cruelty differently. It overwhelms them. It dysregulates them. Their nervous system starts screaming, this is not safe. And honestly, the reaction in my head was like, run, 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 because it was that uncomfortable. And honestly, I think a lot of people who grew up around bullying, emotional volatility, gossip, exclusion, or public humiliation become very sensitive to these environments later in life because they know exactly how quickly humans can become cruel when they feel protected by the crowd. And one thing I've learned is this: kindness is easiest when there is no social cost attached to it. But the true test of character is, can you remain humane when the group is rewarding cruelty? Can you resist being emotionally swept up in mob energy? I can, because history shows us repeatedly, groups can normalize behavior individuals might never engage in alone. Think about the Rodney King issue, right? And I think emotionally healthy people tend to recoil from spectacle rather than move toward it. So the last live we're doing today is the people who stay human under pressure. I think one of the things I value most in people is the ability to stay human under pressure. Not perfect, not emotionless, not endlessly agreeable, human. Because pressure reveals people. Stress reveals people. Disappointment reveals people. Conflict reveals people. And I think there are some people who become more rigid under pressure, more certain, more black and white. And then there are people who become more reflective, more thoughtful, more compassionate. I've always been fascinated by the people who can hold complexity without immediately reducing someone to good or bad, hero or villain, worthy or worthless, because human beings are complicated. And I think empathy requires emotional maturity, not naivety, not excusing harmful behavior, not understanding that humans, often carrying histories, trauma, shame, fear, insecurity, grief, and pain, influence how they move through the world. And honestly, I think emotionally intelligent people become less certain over time, not more certain, because the more people you meet, the more trauma you witness, the more complicated life becomes. And I think one of the most dangerous things humans can do is confuse certainty with intelligence. I don't fully know. There may be some complexity here, and I think that that is a valid answer. That is wisdom. And maybe one of the greatest acts of courage today is simply remaining humane in a world constantly rewarding outrage and certainty, and rage bait too. So I just want to say thank you all for tuning in. If you got some value from this, feel free to like and subscribe and come back and see us again soon. I tend to go live at 12:30, but I'm always a little bit late. But I do post on my YouTube, which is recovering_perfectionist_mama, about when I'll be on usually. So, and what topics we'll be doing. So I just want to say thank you so much. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.